All right. Hello.
Hey Clay,
Hey, Nate. How you doing?
I'm good. Is this? I thought this was this just you and me?
No, this is
Oh,
our AI Rocket
that,
Academy
that's
intro.
what I thought. I was like, I'm the only one.
No, well, we had more people join the intro call last week. We have more people doing the best practices call this week, which starts at 4 o'clock Eastern. So this is
Okay.
the intro and onboarding call. Um, we have about 70 people signed up. Most of them will get the video recap.
Yep.
Uh, and I think we had about 10 people RSVP yes to this instance, but we've got about 20 people signed up to do the next call happening in 30 minutes. So choose
Yep.
your flavor, but we're going to walk through what it looks like to just do basic onboarding and the intro to the app on this call.
hmm
So yeah, this will be recorded out to all of our AI Rocket Academy people who signed up and sent out with our recap. So I'm just going to get started right away. I'll walk through a brief intro and onboarding. Anybody who joins can ask any questions, and then I can get into any Q&A. But right now I'm showing one of my accounts on AI Rocket. This is an account that I use for one of my GoPods in GoBundance. And I've got the assistant reset to give me a welcome message. So
Yep.
when people join, they should first put in their team name, so whatever you want to use this for. And then you're going to get a welcome message from the assistant. The first thing the assistant's going to ask is, what do you want to call me? And because we run EOS in our pod, I think it's always fun to have an EOS name. So I'm going to say back, I'll call you Roxy in honor
Right.
of
And
EOS.
if a nice addition would be, tell me what you'd like Roxy to look like. Blonde, 5'8". I mean, that works. There's
Yes,
Roxy. She's my executive admin.
you're right. We should let Roxy have a profile photo.
Eh,
That'll
There's
be, it's logged as a feature request. Thank you, Nate.
Yeah,
Uh, yeah.
just one other thing. If you will get to this, and you'll have voice, but when you go to Europe in some of the countries, when you get your navigation system, you can say you have parameters like you can say, I want it to have a British accent and I want her to talk filthy. Like that's an option on your GPS when you rent the car.
That's great. We do have voice mode. It is fully installed now, and I will talk about it in something coming up soon. But we've got
Yep.
full voice mode. You can pick from about 15 different presets
Okay.
what you want. But we're not into accents and everything like that
Oh,
yet.
that's fine. It was just
We'll get into that.
take
Yeah,
it and leave it. Yeah.
yeah. I'll demo the voice mode in just a minute when I get through the onboard. So, all right. So we've named our assistant Roxy. Roxy is going to ask us a few questions. Number one is Roxy is going to try to understand what are the main things you're responsible for on your team. And I'm going to say, AI guidance, high energy, doing hard things on purpose, and age defying health. Those are the things that I try to bring to my GoPod. And now Roxy's going to learn that those are the things that are priorities to me personally as part of my team. So that's going to save in Roxy's memory and go in Roxy's file. So
Okay.
Roxy can try to prioritize those things about me. Is there anything else you're responsible for that I should help with? Or should we move on to how we work together? So I'm going to say, let's move on. And now Roxy's going to ask some questions about personal preferences, how I'd like communication styles, things like that. So Roxy's recapping, okay, here are the things that you hold as high priorities. Communication style, should I be formal and professional? Response length, engagement style. You can answer in free form here. You don't have to follow any guidance. I'm going to say be brief, energetic, and offer more details as needed. I'm going to also say, yes, let's use email and SMS messaging. So I want my assistant to be able to email me and send me text messages. You can also do WhatsApp or Telegram. There's other options here. And there we go. And now Roxy has a preference profile that Roxy's building about their own preferences, personalities, and communication styles. So great, here we go. Is there any other specific style that fits your hard things on purpose? I'm gonna say, nope, let's go. And yeah, so I'm gonna, or just say everything looks good, right? Let's give Roxy confirmation that she's on track. Everything looks good, okay? And Roxy should now ask me a few more things and then start to show me ways that I can use the app. Now on the right side here, you do have the apps that are already enabled in the agent apps. You can click through them and look around. I recommend people finish the conversation that you're having with the assistant first. That way the assistant can do a good job of being proactive and being a true assistant. So Roxy is telling me one more thing before we wrap up. I'll send you a friendly check-in every day at 11 o'clock. Here's what it looks like. Hi, Clay, just checking in to see if there's anything I can help with. You can ask me anything. And if there's something different, Roxy's saying, would you like something different for me in your daily check-in, or would you like a different time? I'm going to say, yes, please move that to 8 a.m. Eastern instead, and start with a funny joke of the day and my calendar summary, right? So what I'm doing now is I am assigning a scheduled task for my assistant to do every day. So now my assistant is going to build this as a recurring task and call it a daily check-in, move the time to 8 a.m. and write itself directions for what to do, which is giving a funny joke and giving a summary of my calendar. Now, if you don't have your calendar connected yet, you're going to see how to do that, but my calendar's already been connected, so Roxy has access to that. Is there anything else to like to adjust? I'm going to say, no, let's go. Let's give Roxy some energy here. Roxy's powered by Gemini 3.1 Flash, which is very fast, very intelligent reasoning model. And Roxy's giving me their preferences again. This is the personality. This is the daily task. And Roxy's letting me know there's already 102 documents already synced. Now, if you're just onboarding for the first time, you won't have any documents synced because we haven't gotten there, but I'm using an account that already had documents synced, and I'll get to that in just a minute. But Roxy would normally ask me right now, hey, can we sync some of your documents? And Roxy would take me to this page, which is the connect page. And here I would see an option to connect my Google Drive or to connect my Microsoft OneDrive. That is going to allow me to connect folders in my drives. You can see I've got 2 folders in my Google Drive that are, I can manage those folders, I can add folders. But this allows Roxy to understand what's going on and synthesize the data in my folders. Now, the kind of data we have in our folders, I'll go over that with you. I also have my Google Calendar and my Gmail connected here. If you have your Google Drive, or if you use Google Drive, or even if you use Microsoft and you've got Outlook Calendar, and you've got OneDrive, that's a great starting point. Your assistant's going to be able to do a lot and understand a lot by having access to your Google Suite or your Microsoft Suite. And I'll show you a couple ways to do that. All right, so the assistant is asking, would you like to set up communication channels? What email address should I send to you? So this is the email address that I want Roxy to be able to send emails to me. So now Roxy's going to send me a test email. I just sent you a test email. Did you receive it? I'm going to say, yes, I got it, but you would want to wait. And by the way, Roxy can communicate with you by text, by email, or in the app. And the conversation is a fluent thread. So if you ask Roxy for something on email and then you follow up with it in the app, the conversation is stored all in the same place. Do I want a text message? Yes, send it. Going to get a text message. Oh, that is not my phone number. Oh, let's just go here. It has a phone number for me that's not real. My phone number is. Now it's going to update the settings. and it's going to send that. Okay, now it's got the settings for that. So Roxy is now going to move on to, okay, here are some things that I can do for you. So Roxy is going to offer you a couple options here. We can always skip this and just get right into the app, but Roxy wants to let me know an overview of what is Roxy, how does Roxy work. So I'm going to get a sort of a briefing here from Roxy. Roxy is the personal assistant, learns and remembers priorities, preferences, and goals. Every interaction is personalized to me and then also to my team, because I have other team members who will use the app as well. And then Roxy helps me use the agent and the tools. So everything in the main part of the screen, these are our agents, apps, and these are the tools. Roxy has ability to help me use these tools, guide me through it, or to actually take actions on it. So I can really run the app through my assistant chat here. And these are some of the things that the agent and the agent tools can do. We've got document agents, integration agents that understand all your data that's been connected, web search, your calendar, your Gmail. It has a to-do manager and scheduled tasks. You've got notifications so that you can talk with your assistants and agents on the go. You've got skill managers and custom connections. I'll dive into a little bit of that now. You've got the ability to connect and sync with all your data across different platforms. There's over 200 connected apps you can connect. You can generate reports on a daily basis or a weekly or a monthly basis. This is any kind of information that you want in a scheduled report. We've got team dashboards. We've got a creative suite to create images and presentations. Visualizations, any communication that you have in the channel, you can turn into a graphic visualization. You've got a set of skills that your assistant and agents know how to do, and lots of other stuff. If you're interested in how your data is kept safe and private, you can click through that. I'll let you do that. And so now we are moving on to, now we've finished the onboarding with the assistant, and now the assistant is giving us 3 more things that it can do for us. The assistant can deliver a morning look to us, a review of all of the priorities and action items for the day, an afternoon update where it's going to check in on anything that's happened already for the day, anything that needs attention before we finish our day. That comes at 2 o'clock. And then overnight research, which it's going to perform research overnight using web search on any of the priorities that you're working on, and giving you some proactive ideas. Now you can turn on or off these. You can try them, you can edit them, you can change them. But if you click enable selected tasks, you can get all 3 of these, and these just become tasks that your assistant will perform on a weekly basis. So now what do I want to do?
Clay, quick question on, you said it goes out and just researches your task. Is it a basic web search, or is it, going deep into, third-party websites? Like if you say, hey, Roxy, come up with a list of 50 medical device companies with a revenue north of 50 million, and find me the top 10 contacts for every one of those companies, their phone number and email.
Yeah. So if you gave that instruction to the assistant would launch a research project, which is another one of the features. The task itself that the assistant is going to do by default is just going to be a web-based search task into one of your priorities and giving you some proactive suggestions and goals. There's 2 ways that you could edit that. One is you could tell the assistant, hey, for the overnight research task, I want you to go search these 50 websites and I want you to do this. And it would edit its own task to be able to do that. And you could manually edit as well. If you go into the tasks, you could find this overnight research, because all your tasks are in the scheduled tasks feature set. You could open this up and you could edit it and tell it exactly what you want it to do. And you can see the prompt that it's running by default. So these are its instructions here. And you can edit that as much as you want, or you could ask the assistant to edit it, and the assistant would edit it its own task.
Would it be smart enough if you gave it the instructions to log into a third-party service like Seamless AI?
You would have to have a connection enabled to do that.
Okay, yep.
Yeah. So if you have already enabled an API or an MCP connection and you tell it to access that data source, it could do that. Correct.
Okay. That will be my first task. I'm going to try that out.
Yeah.
Because that's something that comes up all the time that eats up time. And even though I have BDRs that do that, if they can come in the morning and have that served up to them, you just shaved hours off their day.
Sure. There's a couple different ways you might try accomplishing that. One is doing a task is make sure that you tell it, use this connection. And as long as you have that connection enabled in your connection suite,
Yep,
it can do that. The other thing you might want to do is be much more powerful if you created a sub agent to do that.
Okay.
Sub agent's a little bit more advanced, but a sub agent allows you to create a workflow that has multiple steps. And so the steps could be log into this, use this data source, analyze this, create a report. This is what the report needs to be formatted like, and this is what I want you to do with that report. So
Okay.
here, you can see from this sub agent, you can create all the different steps. Pick
Yep.
For my data, quick, if you want to add, okay, use Slack or use Salesforce. These are the
Yep.
skills that I want you to use. This is how I want you to handle. And there's a bunch of templates that are already built. But in each step of the way, you've got access to see what it's doing and the ability to edit or generate it. And then you can create a custom sub agent as well by just describing what you want the outcome to be, what data sources you want it to connect to, what steps you want it to take.
Okay.
So a sub agent in your case might be much more powerful than an assistant task.
Okay.
Yeah, but you can also describe everything you want to the assistant and see what the assistant recommends. Here's the research project we talked before. Research is a deep dive into a subject to prepare a multi-page briefing or analysis summary. There's standard research, and then there's deep research, which takes a lot more steps. And these are going to launch parallel agents that are going to go out and grab a whole bunch of different data from a whole bunch of different sources. And then they're going to work on putting together one streamlined research report based on all the different sources that they gather information from.
Okay.
All right, so I'm going to go to my assistant here and say, help me explore AI Rocket features. I can also click around on any of these features as well. But my assistant's going to tell me, okay, these are some things that you can go look at and do. Would you like to try any of these? I'm just going to point out a few here that I think are helpful. I already talked about documents. So syncing your Google Suite or your Microsoft Sync is really important. If you don't have that or you don't want to connect that, then you can go to your data connections here and you can go to manage. And you can, instead of connecting your documents here, if you don't want to connect that suite, you can do a local upload where you can locally upload some files here. That's an okay way if you don't have, but the sync connections are really powerful because as long as your data is in those folders, if anything updates or changes, then it triggers our system to update and refresh that sync so everything can be in order. The kind of documents that are really helpful to sync, if I show you our category list, any call transcripts or meetings that you have with your team, client calls, internal calls, team meetings calls, those are incredibly important, very valuable to your assistant and your agent. And I recommend the full transcripts, not just the summaries. If you have access to the full transcripts, those are much, much better because there's about 10 times as much data in the transcript as there is in the summary. And you want your agent and your assistants to have access to the full transcripts.
So giving access to like Firefly,
and making sure when Firefly is recording that it is grabbing full transcripts and not just giving you a summary.
Yes, always do that.
Summaries are good. You can have them as well, but transcripts are really data rich.
Yep.
Another thing that I think is really important to start with, all the documents that are your core strategy documents. What is your company's mission? What is your goal? What are your core values? What are you aiming towards? Do you have unique parts about your business that differentiate you from other companies? Do you have a SWOT analysis? Those are really important because your agent and your assistant will prioritize that information higher than all other information.
Okay.
Because that is a part of our system prompt is that the agents are going to look for that information, anything around those guidelines, and they're going to use it to make sure that every answer, every response is in alignment with that. Also, if you change that or you update that, you want to make sure that that gets in the system, which is a good way if you have OneDrive or Google and you update your mission statement every 6 months or your core values. As soon as you update that, it's going to get synced back into the system and our agent's going to understand that that's the most recent version of it. Data sync financial is good. If you're comfortable connecting financial information, you can connect it through documents or you can connect it through something like QuickBooks or Stripe. Those are some integrations that we see as the most popular. A couple other tools I'll bounce around in. If you want to understand what your agent knows about your team from the data you have connected, you can go into data health. You'll see a snapshot of the health of the connected data and recommendations on how to get better data in your system. You'll also see a knowledge page. This is a snapshot of the knowledge that your agent knows about you and your team from the data that's connected. Early on, you may not have a lot of data. You might be missing some data. This is going to show you where the data is missing. If you don't have data on client info, if you just don't have it, start an interview and answer questions from your agent about information about your clients, and you can import this into your agent. So now your agent will understand what it needs to know about your clients. So that will fill in some of the gaps. A couple other things here. There's a creative suite. Once you have some starting data, you'll start to see these presets become available. So if you have enough information for a team snapshot, for mission, for core values, for a weekly review, for your goals, and then into things like sales campaigns, financial health. As long as you have the data and your agent knows what data you have, you can create presentations and decks just by clicking these presets. And so this right here is going to give me a image or a custom slide deck that uses this data from my existing data connections. And these are just presets. If I don't want to use a preset and I want to give a custom prompt, then I'm just going to say, build me a slide deck that talks about X, Y, Z. But the other thing you could do is you can ask Roxy to build me a presentation for our upcoming investor meeting. Now, we don't have investors for our GoPod.
Yep.
So in this case, Roxy may have trouble finding this information. But if I did have that, then Roxy would take this information and would put a prompt over into the Creative Suite to be able to, here you go, hey Clay. So it's going to pull information from that, which here we go. If I go back out of here and open the Creative Suite, then it's going to take that and create a custom prompt in there for me so that I can now create that. So the assistant is helpful at navigating and telling you where to go get things done. So that's a fun thing to play with. Your team dashboard will automatically generate every week on Sundays. And this is going to look at your mission alignment, your core values, your goals, and your team health. Again, the more data you give and connect, the better you're going to have here. But you can custom generate a team dashboard whenever you'd like. You can also create custom dashboards by just naming a dashboard and selecting the kind of things that you'd like to be on that dashboard. And then you can have multiple dashboards running. You've got a library, and these are documents that have been created in here, and visuals. Visuals take a little bit of time to load, but anytime you create presentations, slide decks, images, they're saved in your library. You can also share out items. So we created something here, the mission and core values for our team. You can see that our agent put together a nice report. And if I want to share this, I can generate a link here, and I can share this link, and anybody can access this. So I can share this like a PDF. But in this case, it's sharing it as a website. So if I grab this here and I copy this, then I can go open a new page. And so if I sent this on a text message or in WhatsApp, then anybody who grabbed that link would be able to come here, and they're looking at the document that I'm sharing, but they're looking at as an interactive website. And what I mean by interactive is there's an embedded agent that can answer questions about the information that's on the document. So instead of sharing a PDF or a spreadsheet, you can share an interactive website on anything that you create inside of the app. And then you can let people download this as a PDF. So there's password protection on these. So if you wanted to set a password and share this out, or if you wanted to send a QR code, and you can also attach an image or a 3-slide deck, which will make an image or a slide deck based on the content on this page. So those are some of the early entry features that we have. I didn't get into everything, but there's a lot more here. We've got a lot of beta features as well, including email control, lead gen, meeting intelligence, advisors, AI analytics. We've got an EOS command center that's in beta. And in the best practices call, we'll get more into different things that you can do once you get your onboarding set up. So a couple more minutes here. Nate, do you have any other questions?
No, this is fantastic, Clay.
Well,
Awesome.
we're having a lot of fun. The world of agents and assistants is just incredible. It moves fast.
It's moving really fast. Now, we talk about it every morning in our call.
Yeah. All right. Well, if you have any other questions, our agents pick up customer support tickets every hour and work on things, fix things, and then reply. So please keep our agents busy, asking questions, sending improvement requests, anything that's broken. The faster people try things and break things and ask for improvements, the better our system gets.
Awesome.
All right.
All
Thanks.
right. Thank you very much.
All right. See you.
Bye.